I love building software by myself. There is something that is so distinctly different about building software, maybe outside of your 9 to 5 job, something that is more rewarding, something that is more magical when you're able to take these ideas that are inside of your head and translate them into fully functioning apps. I especially love this in the SaaS space. I've been doing this for over a year now, and I just want to share some of the things that I just absolutely love about building by myself and why I don't think I'll ever stop. I have 5 specific things that I really do love about this, but first, I just want to start with an anecdote about the first time that I wrote software, the first time that I wrote a piece of code and how it made me feel. It was probably back when I was 17, 18 years old. I was in a computer science class in my senior year of high school, and it was a Java class, so I was writing a Hello World project, obviously, as we all do in Java. I had no idea what I was doing. I was just typing some stuff that I saw on the internet or saw from my curriculum, and then all of a sudden, it was there in the console. I didn't even know what a console was, but the thing that I had typed was now somewhere else. And there was just this magical feeling inside of me knowing that, oh, what I did corresponded to something else and just created that out of thin air. And every time I build software for myself outside of my 9 to 5 job, sometimes during work too, but every single time when I build software outside of work, I get that same exact feeling, and it's something that I am striving and chasing for all the time. So if you understand that story and you understand that feeling, you're in the right place. The first thing that I want to talk about why I love this so much is just the true freedom of creativity that comes with all of this. Throughout this video, I'll probably make comparisons between building software by yourself and building software in your 9 to 5 job, but the freedom that comes with building your own software is distinctly different than anything you'll get in your 9 to 5, unless you're working at some kind of startup where you have a lot of say. But if you are working in a large team on large initiatives, the amount of creative freedom that you have as a software engineer is likely not going to be that much. Managers and product folk will probably want your input on how feasible is this from a technical standpoint, but when it comes to creating business solutions for, the business that you're working for, that's normally out of your hands. That is normally being handled by somebody else. When you build your own software, when you build your own SaaS applications, all of that opportunity is given to you as the developer. And I think that's a really awesome thing that I love getting to explore outside of my job because I don't get that opportunity there all the time. So I'm talking about things like the design of the application, all the features that go into it. How do we solve customer pain points? Also, all of the architecture decisions are completely up to me, so I don't have to run them up the gamut and maybe get shot down about how we're approaching something. I get to go, try it out. If it fails, it fails. But if it is something that works out, I get to say, hey, I thought of this and it worked. And that really is just an awesome feeling and an awesome way to learn as well. Creativity is something that I'm always striving for. I think it is something that can get pushed to the back burner as we get older, as we get further into this AI world that we live in. Just maintaining as much of that creativity as possible is something that I'm trying to bring forward into my life, and building things solo is a great way to do that. The second point is just about speed. I love shipping things fast. I love getting an email from a user of my platform requesting some kind of feature or an update or something like that, and then 30 minutes later, I'm able to email them back saying, yeah, that's already in the platform. I just did that for you. At a company, that feedback loop is way, way, way longer. It needs to go through the whole chain of command, and especially the larger the company, the longer this takes. But when you're building by yourself, you get to just make these decisions at rapid speed. You get to see them in real time. Maybe they work, maybe they don't. But there is no bouncing ideas off each other. It's just whatever you think makes sense, go for it, and you're able to learn from that in real time. Of course, this can come with disadvantages. Don't get me wrong. Working on a team is a powerful thing. But man, do I love not having to get approval to just go and do things. The third thing that I really love about building solo is the potential for financial reward. This one is tricky because there's 2 categories. There's folks who are trying to build software to make money off of it in their free time, right? But then there's also people who just make things that are fun. Maybe they are trying to build things that improve their own lives or just challenge them technically. I do a little bit of both, but I really do love to build SaaS applications in the hope that I will make some money off of them. And this mindset is also distinctly different than when you're working at a company. Obviously, if you're working a 9 to 5 job, you're working for a salary. If the business does well, you may or may not get a bigger bonus as a reward. Maybe your salary bump on your annual compensation cycle will be like a little bit better. These days, that reward might be not getting laid off, but all of that is distinctly different than if you were just building by yourself. Anything that you're able to make from those applications goes directly to you. And this definitely isn't always the case, but there are times where you can see the correlation between the amount of effort that you're putting into a product and the amount of revenue that it is making. And I think that's a really powerful thing because that is not always the case in the 9 to 5. You can work super, super hard. You can make the platform as amazing as you can possibly make it, but there are factors outside of your control that will contribute to the success of the platform, the company, and essentially your raises. So being in complete control of your financial destiny as it pertains to building software by yourself is something that really excites me. It makes me motivated to try as hard as possible at all aspects of the business, not just building, but learning how to sell software as well. All of that is just super, super exciting and motivating to me. I kind of touched on this a little bit, but the fourth thing that is really awesome about building by yourself is just no bureaucracy. It can be really, really frustrating when you're in a meeting at work and there are 10 to 15 people, maybe even more in this meeting, who all have input on a certain project that you're working on. And in order to get things done, it has to go through every single layer of the folks who are in this meeting. And it might even reach into the upper echelons of the company, people that you'll never even talk to. Every decision is vetted under a microscope, and if there's even a single flaw, it'll likely get kicked back, and you'll have to restart the entire process over again. This often goes for business decisions, like what features are we actually going to work on, but also technical decisions, which technologies are we going to use to accomplish this goal. But when you're building by yourself, you don't have to talk to anybody. I just get to say, I think this makes sense, and then I just get to do it. I have a hypothesis about something that's going to work. Cool, do it. See if it works, and then come back and make decisions off of that. I want to spend all week marketing instead of building. Awesome, that's a great idea, and I can just do that, and I don't have to talk to anybody about it. Working on a team is great in many regards, but just having to get layers and layers of approval definitely wears down on an engineer who just wants to build and make cool things. So when there's no bureaucracy, there's no politics involved in it, it's a really awesome feeling and a really productive feeling as well. And this final thing that I just love about building by myself is there is way less pressure. You only have yourself to disappoint, unless you're trying to feed your family off of the software that you're building, in which case there's a lot of pressure. But for myself, I try not to put the type of pressure that I put on myself in the work setting. And it's a lot easier to do this because in the work setting, obviously there's the pressure that you put on yourself, but then there's external pressures as well. There are deadlines that are coming up from product or the managers or the business, and you have to meet those and make sure that you're delivering what you said you were going to deliver. You have a constant expectation to produce from the other engineers on your team, making sure that you're reviewing their code in a promptly manner and doing your due diligence to make sure that standards are enforced. When I'm building by myself, I only have myself to answer for. So if I'm failing at something, it's my fault. And that's it. And it doesn't really affect anybody else. If it affects my users, that's another thing. And I obviously want to remedy that as soon as possible. But when it comes to things like code quality, standards, I definitely don't hold myself to the same standard that I do at work. Like I said before, I value speed. And I think I value that more than I value the quality, as long as it's not going to ultimately hurt the product in the long run. There are certain things that you kind of just can't ignore and can't overlook when you're working on a big team in a big tech company. But all of that kind of goes out the window when you build by yourself. You only have yourself to blame. You only have yourself to hold accountable for. And I honestly love that. It challenges me in different ways. And ultimately, I think it makes me a better developer. So if you're also building by yourself, leave some of the things that you love about it down in the comments, especially if you're building SaaS and you're trying to make some money off of it. And especially if you're also working a 9 to 5 and you kind of see the differences between building by yourself and building for a company. But I just want to thank you a ton for watching all the way through. Definitely subscribe if you're into building software by yourself and you want to see the process of building things from scratch. That's what I like to document here on this channel. So hope you enjoyed the rest of your day. Thanks a ton for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.